Well, good morning to you all. Um, yeah, it is. What is it today? Thursday, the 31st of December 2020, last day of the old year. What an interesting year it's been. Um, yes, interesting as in what on earth is going to happen next? Well, I think what that says in Welsh is we love you dearly and we would love to hear from you, or something like that. Those of you that speak, read, understand Welsh might have different ideas. Anyway, that's not what we're interested in today. I am going to be slowly putting together a model railway. And, well, I've steered some of you towards looking at one of Ronald Dodd's wonderful videos. I think the service that he has provided to Hornby-Dublo modelers is absolutely wonderful. That said, those of you that have only got a passing interest in model railways might find the subject a little bit... He gets into fantastic detail, which is, for me, incredibly useful. For some people, I accept that some of you will have found him too nitpicky and too detailed. Well, you know, to each their own. We live in a world where there are people who think that, well, what shall we say? Well, there's people who vote Republican and there's people who vote Democrat and there's people who, well, you know, there's Christians and Muslims and there's everyone in between and all sorts of... So, you know, carry on your lives as you see fit. But better than watching a Ronald Dodd video, how about going to the book and getting advice from some of these people? Now, let me see, the Gresham Publishing Company Limited, 1923. So, that is going to be our reference work. I find this book quite interesting just to dip into. Very interesting if you're going to be building brand new steam locomotives and a brand new railway. Slightly interesting if you like old machinery. It explains an awful lot, and there are pictures in here that will provide me with some useful references as I begin to build the layout. There's an interesting thing. Ever thought how you manipulate and move about moulding blocks, moulding boxes for casting things in steel? Noises in the background provided by cats. They have this period first thing in the morning where they pester me until I feed them, and then they remember that they were once kittens and they play for about 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden they all decide they're going to sleep. They're just in there running around the house like lunatic stage at the moment. But yes, a very, very interesting and useful book on how to set out workshops, the sort of equipment you need. Now, if you are going to build a boiler, that's boiler firebox, you need lifting gear and tackle for turning it over and things like that, which, you know, this book is very useful for. So, enough of that. What I cleared the table for was to start taking some of Mr. Dodd's advice on servicing and getting track into a good and usable condition. Now, these pieces of track came to me from a variety of sources. Some people kindly donated me things. Some people said to me, can you find a home for this? It's in my way, it's in the loft, it's my granddad's, whatever. Some of it did come from that famous online auction site, and some from model railway fairs and such likes. In short, it's had a varied history. Some of it has undoubtedly been used. Now, if we look at this piece here, we can see that the screw hole has been over tightened and dimpled in, and we can see that it's, interestingly, this piece has got two fish plates on the end. Well, that one can come off for starters, and it's not necessarily been looked after. That piece is nice and flat. Hornby had a wonderful habit of labelling everything, and of course I picked up the one piece of track where the labels can't be read. Let's pick up the next piece. There we are. Because what it tells us, it's Hornby-Dublo. It tells us that it's made in England by Meccano Limited, and it tells us that this is a large radius. They made track in different radii, so that you could lay two circuits, one inside the other. I've had a little sort out, and I've found that I've got sufficient of the large radius tracks to make the layout that I'm dreaming of, and I will have some spare, which is just as well, because some of it has been mangled, and yeah, that's going to want some very delicate repair work doing with. I shall sort out some little drifts and hammers and things, and I've got a feeling that I'm going to have to make some jigs to hold this while I straighten bits. But I've got enough of the large radius, which is good. Something I found, and I'm assuming that someone far cleverer than I is going to explain why that's got the light tan coloured insulators and that's got the dark brown. Someone out there has got a reference work that says that that was made in 19 whatever and that was made in 19 something different. I don't have that book. Oh look, there's one. What I intend to try to do is, where I've got identical pieces, I shall put the identical ones together in some sort of silly notion that perhaps they all came in the same box when they were new. But there we are, that's what I shall be doing for at least some of this morning. It's drizzling with rain, it's about 5 degrees outside, so it's definitely an indoor playing day today.